Maji na Fanta.
Microphone check. Microphone test. Sound check. Ishmael check. Microphone check. Testing sound. Let me first get my drink. I also take my shot. A very good evening, dear viewers. A very good evening, Africa, most especially those that are watching from the respective countries where these two shooters come from. Good evening, those who are watching from South Africa in particular. Good evening, those that are watching from Uganda. This is the second match out of two today. Ibrahim SEJJEMBA from Uganda and Ishmael MTHETHWA from South Africa are having a date against each other. They have both handed to me $1,000 in my wallet is $2,000, and they have both given me authority to give it to the first of them to reach 21 frames. This one is the third of them all. It is having live commentary with the same. It is having live stream with the same exact commentary being shared on Break and Finish Live Facebook, Mchana Pool Club YouTube, as well as Peter Chobe Live YouTube. Ishmael has already lost 2 matches against Ugandans in the last 2 days, including today. And yet the one that is believed to be the tougher Ugandan of the two is the one that he is playing last, with the assumption that Ishmael could be a little fatigued. Him accepting to play this match is testament of why he is called the die-hard. Ishmael never lets go. The way I know him, If he beats Ibra, he can even tell him, let us do all of the 4,000 again. That is who Ishmael is. We are at Jamlock Restaurant, the venue and Ishmael's sponsor for today. And with Ibra traveling all the way from the Republic of Uganda in Kampala exactly 2 days ago, only arriving here yesterday morning. Yes, courtesy of his management team that are Roxbury in the Ugandan Pool League. The two players are meeting off for the very first time, for the second time, sorry. The first being a race that happened in Lusaka. If you remember the East and Central Southern African Pool Championships that were organized in 2020, late in there, at the peak of COVID, the night before the finals of the tournament was a match between Ibra and Ishmael at Billiards Cafe. It was won by Ibra. He gets to face against Ishmael for the very second time, with Ishmael having very mixed results against Ugandan players. In fact, of all the players against whom he plays international matches, the Ugandans give him the hardest time of them all, but most especially Dog City. The victory that I have in my memory for Ishmael against the Ugandan player was against Joseph Kasozi at Billiards Cafe in Lusaka in 2024 on the eve of the Billiards Cafe Classic that was won by Eden, the tournament in which Ishmael took both of his lives to the respective semi-finals in the losers and winners category of that double life competition, where fellow South Africans Mandy Ment and Nzamo alongside Ishmael and Eden made the top 4 into the semi-finals in the best demonstration of South African dominance that we have had in recent African pool history. This match, in my opinion, will have Ibra as a slight favorite for the victory. First of all, because Ishmael has already been crumbled by Ibra's friend and international teammate Dog City, but of course, the class of Ibra. He's one of Uganda's biggest ever names. Was the first Ugandan to win an international competition when he won the Billiards Cafe Classic International Double Elimination Competition, the first edition that was sponsored by the Honorable Matthew Ngulube at Billiards Cafe in Lusaka. In that one, he did defeat Zambia's kingpin Victor Sinyenza in the final. He then won the first edition of the Grand Michana Open Championship in 2023 tournament that had Ishmael alongside the other South African players in participation, including, I remember, Aiden, also including, of course, Ishmael, and as well including Nzwana Kwabe. Ibra did beat South Africa's Aiden in the round of last 16, alongside making it into the final, where he defeated Tanzania's Saif Hamad to take home the then $5,000 that made him the first and second Ugandan ever to win international championships, at least in the men's category. Since then, his best performance in an international event has been reaching the final of the second edition of the Billiards Cafe Classic in 2023. He lost out to the Malawian Sanford Given Ginte in the final. The last time out that Ibra participated internationally was a relatively low showing, where he reached only into the round of last 16 overall at the PPT, the Patriarchs International Tournament that was organized in Harare in Zimbabwe on the 23rd of December last year. That was 2025. He will be taking a little bit more time than Dog City, a little bit more time than Ishmael between shots. This one could take us a minimum of 3 hours. It could take us a maximum of 4 or 4 hours also. But eventually, we shall have a result. Either Ishmael will be redeeming his $2,000 lost against Dog City, or he will be losing yet even more against yet another Ugandan in Ibrahim SEJJEMBA. The last competition in which Ibra participated was a double life tournament in the country of Uganda just last Sunday at Oryx Gardens He had 1 life in the final, with Caesar having 2 lives. He had to defeat his nemesis Caesar twice, and quite convincingly, by 6 frames to 2 and 7 frames to 3 respectively, to win what became his 4th tournament out of the 9 in which he has participated this year. He comes into this event as the hottest Ugandan on the pool tables. He has been sponsored by his boss, Roxbury. Special greetings, most especially to manager Zach Idiro, watching all the way from his home. He's the manager of the Bank of Africa in Uganda. Also for myself, particular thanks as having sponsored my trip to Nairobi simply to do what I love doing. Thank you, Zach. Back to the match. Ibrahim and Ishmael are drawing 1-1 in this long race to 21, with a crowd that is so worried about Ishmael. In fact, after losing out to Dog City in the last 25 minutes, in the post-match interview that I had with Dog City, he was like he wished Ishmael could change plan and not face 2 tough players on the same day. He says race to 21 is too much, taking on players this good and expecting to win. But Ishmael, this I have to warn you, he is the diehard. Normally, the Ishmael that I'm accustomed to winning gets better the longer he plays. He can play competitive pool for 10 hours, only having a little break. As long as you give him a chance to take water and mbuzi, he will return for 5 more hours. In fact, the Ishmael I know can beat Ibra and can call him back on tables of losing the rest of the 2. Once again, presenting to you the action in audio and video. My name is Simon Peter Chove. Ishmael 1, Ibra 1, race to 21. This one looks like the Ugandan taking the lead for the first time in the match. He is one of the most renowned long racers on the African continent. Not so many times he has been having action against South African players, but yes, he has gotten to have some. By the way, I am forgetting, this is the 3rd time that the 2 are facing off, not the 2nd. The first ever time was a very young Ibra. I think he was 14, only an up-and-coming budding player. Just like you see someone like Jackson Asiku today, when Ishmael made the tour of Uganda in 2015, before the day he played the big match of the day against Hazard, again for $2,000 in Kampala. The match between Ibra and Ish was a curtain raiser, racing to 11, and Ibra won 9 frames to 5. I remember that match. That happened at the venue that is called Lumas in Kampala. And they faced off again in 2020. This happens to be their 3rd meeting. Ibrahim has also faced off other South African players with very mixed results. He lost out to Aiden Joseph in Kampala, racing to 21 for $2,000 in 2022. And Aiden won the match by 21 frames to 15. And then Ibra played in 2023 in Johannesburg in South Africa. I'm forgetting his opponent. It could have been Madala. I beg to be corrected. That race to 16 was won by the South African. By the score, if I'm not mistaken, was 16 frames to 9. Now, when Jerry visited in Uganda about 1.5 years ago, it's actually 2 years ago, he did have a trilogy with Ibrahim SEJJEMBA. That is 3 matches, all of which were played for $2,000 pot. The first race was won by Jerry in a race to 21 by 21 frames to 20. The second race was won by Ibra in a race to 21 by 21 frames to 20. And then the third frame, that was the determinant, was won by Ibra by 21 frames to 18. And then the last match that Ibra did have against a South African player was against Jeremiah Naido. That was in South Africa at 4 Ways in Johannesburg. A race to 16 for $1,000 pot was won by Ibra by 16 frames, I think, to 11, a match that I did stream on this very platform. But before then, at Queen Sports Club in Bulawayo in April last year, just after the Queen's International Double Elimination Classic, Ibra did have a money match against my friend who is called Harry Houdini. A race to 16 was won convincingly by Ibra by 16 frames to 9. His performance in money matches against South African players is relatively good, either in South Africa or in Zambia or in Uganda or now in Kenya. He's one of the most feared Ugandans today. Outside Ugandan soil, not so many dare to take him on unless it is the diehard who looks to be set to win a second, and yet there has been a miss. That is living very dangerously, not because of the pot that they are playing for, which is quite big, but also because of the class of Ish's opponent. Once again, Ibrahim SEJJEMBA 2 and Ishmael MTHETHWA 1. Now, if Ishmael at one time tried to apply the technical game on Dog City, if he wants the technical game, Ibra will give him 1. If he wants the offensive game, Ibra will give him 1. I just have a feeling that Ibra comes into this one as the hotter player, especially given his performances locally this year in comparison to the results involving Ishmael and Dog City earlier today and yesterday. Please keep me company. You may have to immerse your feet in cold water to remain awake. You may have to take your coffee. You may have to chew your popcorn. You may have to take your tea simply to be awake. This one is going to be long. In the end of the day, it is worth it. How addictive pool can mean to be. He's playing to portray to the corner pocket, bottom right, with intent to play the cue ball into the dead red, and gets to play the cue ball well, but doesn't play on target. Ishmael needs to play this with the effect of either potting the yellow with a sharp cut or perhaps occupying the corner pocket with the yellow if he doesn't pot, and yes, he doesn't pot, leaves the corner pocket occupied fully with his yellow. Clearly, Ibra will be playing a snooker, hide the cue ball behind the 3 yellows piled up against each other near the top end of the table. A total snooker it is. You fancy Ishmael in some kind of way to find the yellow that is near the side pocket on the right. Off the left cushion with a right spin on the cue ball, he misses the yellow. And definitely sometimes you miss a ball, you know you are missing a frame. This match was meant to be happening yesterday. Ishmael was meant to face both Ugandans yesterday. But Ibra was very quick to say that I am too fatigued. I cannot risk $1,000 with all this body fatigue. Of course, he had spent 15 hours on the Bebeto coach. Some of the most comfortable buses in East Africa. I'm not just trying to be their marketeer. Boy, they are comfortable. But he said after sitting down for 15 hours trans night and part of the day, he could not play. And sometimes he's the kind of guy he can be the kind of guy against whom you can only play at his terms. As if they are not agreeing about something. Camera.
Yes. Say it's a foul because they play the push it. Let's play here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a foul. But we can replay it for him. You can replay here and see.
You'll be observant of this already. Oh!
Peter.
Is the phone safe?
Yeah, it's what I'm showing you. I want you to also see, because you can see whether there is anything that is touching the cushion. No, it's zoomed out already. Zoom it. It's zoomed out already. Look. Zoom it. Oh. It looks legal. Zoom it.
Looks legal.
There's
The other immediate.
Yeah, there's a touch on this last one. The one near the pocket. It's a fair shot. Why are you pouring my drink?
I'm sorry. What can we do? What drink was it?
No, don't mind it.
No, I may have to buy it. It's only fair.
No, it's not. Don't mind it.
What happened was demand for video review by Ishmael. Upon video review, the shot Ibra played last has been ruled legal and fair after playing off cushion and into the red that is closest to the corner pocket top right. After zooming into the video that you are watching, was a clear guy with the escape. Will depend on whether Ibra will be winning the frame. And it could seem like Ibra may want to play one more snooker. Hide the keyboard just behind the two reds clamped up against each other. It is a failed attempt to play snooker. It is an opportunity for Ishmael to win a second in the race. And with the assumption he's winning, I am calling him a deserved winner of this frame, most especially how good he escaped the angle and is now being rewarded with the easiest white for him to put black for what will be the second time in the match. Ishmael 2, Ibra 2, race to 21. Now the news I have for you. Today is Friday. There is no action lined up for the Ugandan players tomorrow, because tomorrow it was supposed to be Royd Kabwe playing against both of them. Royd opting to stay in Tanzania, so there will not be action. So action that is being organized is between them and some other Kenyan players, including I think Patrick Mwangi, then probably John Chalo, Henry Mwangi on Sunday at Michana Pub and Grill. But before then, Ishmael's boss, we call him Simba, he told me that tomorrow, if need be, Ishmael and Ibra can rematch. So pending confirmation, we could be having a rematch of the match between these two tomorrow at about 6, if not 7 p.m. in the evening. That is rematch of the action between Ibra and Ishmael. And I know that Ibra will highly likely be ready, whether he wins or loses tonight. And Ishmael is always a die-hard, and he has a die-hard boss in Mr. Simba. Simba means a lion in our local lingua. So he's indeed a lion. He agreed to have that match when Dog City was leading against Ishmael. He agreed when Ishmael was likely to lose, and irrespective of him not knowing the potential outcome of this ongoing match. Ibra will have himself to blame for losing frame number 4, but has got chance to redeem himself by winning the very next. He's not the most adventurous player to watch while playing, but one of the most effective players on the entire African continent, and can mean to be a handful in these long races. He has a very lethal pattern. You will not see a lot of elaborate TV shooting unless he really needs to show it to you, then he will give it to you. But boy, oh boy, sometimes his pattern. The pattern in frame number 5 is ending in failure. Ladies and gentlemen, the die-hard should be taking the lead here, with the cue ball in hand, with 2 tricky balls, relatively tricky, the 2 reds, now close to the position of the cue ball. And for a free shot, Ishmael will nominate to pot one of Ibra's yellows. That is normally done to limit the opponent's options. And with Ish now having full control, he determines when to play, when to snooker, when to go for the frame, when not to pot, and he's playing not to pot. It looks like not a total snooker it is. Ibra will need a little cover of the cue ball round both black and red to try and find yellow, try to pot it to the corner pocket top left, finds the yellow, but doesn't pot. 2-2 between the two. 21 the race. Ishmael snookers again. Ibra contemplating playing off the cushion again.
South African games are sweet. Very
And now this I have to tell you guys, the fact that some of you fancy Ibra more than Dog City Ishmael losing to Dog City is not an indication of how he will be performing against Ibra. I have to tell you, he is one guy, Mr. Diehard, that gets better as he plays more. He can stay on the table playing total top competition for 10 hours and will want more. And the way he's playing frame number 5 after being given an opportunity by Ibra's shortcomings is testament of that. He will be putting black to the corner pocket bottom right for what will be Ishmael's second lead in the match. There he goes. Ishmael 3 and Ibra 2.
Nowhere to hide. Today there are no comments.
There is. I are just going to freshen up. Just going for short call. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. From wherever you're watching, thank you Africa for keeping me company. This one is a nice money match. We are gambling, but it is professional gambling organized between players and their respective management teams. The protagonists on the table all the way from Kampala in Uganda, Ibrahim SEJJEMBA, how good he's made that shot, and then all the way from Johannesburg in South Africa, Ishmael MTHETHWA, being managed by Jamlock, while Ibrahim is being managed by Roxbury. For the consequence of a loss of $2,000, these two are racing to 21 with each party staking $1,000. That is exactly how much they both gave to me and gave me permission to submit it to the first to 21 in the race. Ibra has relative half a chance. Try put red to the side pocket. And the existence of a yellow, which is near the black, made the pocket look a little smaller for Ishmael. Importantly, another chance for him to play yet another snooker, try and obtain yet another free shot to win yet another frame, increase the scoreline, make it realistic that he could shock Ibra. He could beat Ibra for the very first time, try and improve his performance, most especially against play who first have played Ibra's red near the cushion, like Ibra himself did, and then go for the frame once and for all, and Ibra will be knowing that he's losing yet another. The 2014 African champion will not want to make it easy for the second Ugandan on the day. It will be a big consolation victory if he finds a way of taking down Ibra. He's not happy with himself that the cue ball is moving a little too further, but of course this one will not be a big problem for Ish. Will be putting black to the corner pocket bottom right like he does. Has to be careful with the cue ball. This time round he gets fortunate. Ishmael 4 and Ibra 2 and the rest to 21. Flash photography. What a day it has been for Ishmael. After playing out a race which took close to 6 hours simply because there were about 2 hours of power interruptions between himself and Dog City. Thankfully, now our power supply is way more stable. And the players need to play to the same exact level of stability for them to stand a chance of taking out each other. I have to tell you that yesterday, while I was streaming the match between Dog City and Ishmael, Ibra sat somewhere near where you see the scoreboard and then started spying on Ishmael's style of play. He watched and watched and watched and watched and left the seat with a smile. But now, for whatever made him smile, he must either show it here or else this could be quite painful for him in terms of defeat, and has to be aware that while Ishmael lost twice against Dog City earlier today and yesterday, he remains a classy player. It is 4 reds on the table. To be turned into 3 as Ibra will be aiming to try and put the red to the corner pocket top right. By red drive, we'll have to do it with power because he will want a relatively big bounce of the cue ball off the top cushion, move it closer to one of the reds, either near the middle or at the bottom end of the table. Plays and puts with power. I want to think he has played the cue ball even better. I'm not so certain the 2 reds touching each other will be going into this in the corner pocket bottom right. If they are, then he simply has to roll, tap the red he's looking at to the side pocket on the right with the minimal energy. There he comes. Minimal energy. He in fact cheated the pocket a little. He has moved the cue ball just well enough to play with backspin, the cue ball moving backwards, not disturbing the positioning of the Reds. The same exact skill he has to play with, and the rest is a formality. It will be the third for the little magician from Uganda against the 4 for the diehard from South Africa. Ibrahim SEJJEMBA 3 and Ishmael MTHETHWA 4. When was that complete? The one won by Henry.
Last Saturday. Oh. There is always a Saturday tournament here. Always. Always. Even tomorrow there will be.
So no race here tomorrow.
Yes?
No race here tomorrow.
It doesn't affect the races. If there's a race, they are played concurrently. Because on the same day, there was a race between Jinja and BP.
What was the result?
Jinja.
Big score? I can't see the lights. Maybe we don't have power here. I doubt we have power.
Okay.
You just hope from an Ishmael perspective that each chance he gets, he can utilize as good as he can. This one will be so crucial of a race for Ishmael. This is redemption. This is for his management to believe in him yet again. You don't want to cause financial loss of $6,000 US in just 2 days. That is too much to lose. Try and redeem 2,000. Promise your boss that you can win another, and he will have every reason to believe that yes, you can.
guy has come back. Network Kabili.
Sometimes I just let people be.
Whose video is this?
One.
No, I'm asking. Is this your video or my video?
I don't know. You can choose either. It's definitely not good, but you know, if I may just leave unless he's using some Wi-Fi somewhere. Otherwise, what he hopes to benefit from what he's doing. Unfortunately, even people are hearing what we are discussing. Now you see he owns the video he puts. He watermarks it. He covers now this cover which people might now know where
where he puts his logo. He then puts his own scope.
It is now 4 frames apiece between the diehard and the little magician. That is the break in frame number 9. Now the live stream of this action is on Channel Pool Club YouTube, as well as Break and Finish Live Facebook and Peter Chobe Live YouTube, with a diagonal Facebook stream and 2 horizontal YouTube streams. All of them are sharing the same exact commentary, with Ishmael now being the beneficiary of a dry break from Ibrahim. He could put black prematurely again. That has been his undoing in both matches involving Dog City. He shakes his head in disbelief at what might have been. This time he was lucky by just 1 millimeter. If by just 1 millimeter black had moved further, the story and scoreline would have been way different. And thank you for watching. Charles Pavins, you're watching from Riyadh. Brian Korogat always watching, reminding us the scoreline being 4 for George and Dungu. You say it's so unfortunate because with the current form, Ishmael should not beat Ibra. I don't know who will beat the other, but I know that Ibra does start as a slight favorite. But I can also remind you that it is not for no reason that Ishmael is called the diehard. You will beat him for 3 frames and you will take 8 hours. And after those 8 hours, he will want you to play 1 pot for all the money you have played in the 3 frames. And then he will have to test how solid you are. That is who he is. And if he beats Ibra, I will not be surprised if Ishmael says, let's go again for all the money I have won. That is who he is. That is the die-hard attitude. And most of the time when he's playing, it is always on his conditions. He's that principled. This match was meant to happen yesterday. He said, no, I will not play. I had promised to play, but I cannot mess around with my 1,000 US dollars for the pot of 2,000 when I am not feeling comfortable to play because he was fatigued. Ishmael had to agree to Ibra's conditions. And good enough, we are having the game. These guys have to be careful with the position of the black ball. Any slight contact between any of the balls and the black ends the frame there, and then you could even blow it with the air through your mouth and pot it anyway. I believe the tempting shot is maybe put the red that is bottom left of the screen with a big backspin. The cue ball could be played into the reds close to each other. Try and play them open. He's perhaps opting to play red to the side pocket on the right, off the yellow near that center pocket. This is quite good. The resulting position of the cue ball not good whatsoever. Advantage Ishmael. The die hand is perhaps winning yet another with a match that is moving in relatively slow. but the progress is there. So far, not too much to divide the players, sorry. With none of them not exactly showing what they have in advantage against their opponent. But the race is still long. You get a feeling that time is coming when it will be consecutive frame after frame after frame for either of these players, those that will grab the bull by the horns. And why not? Can it be Ishmael? Because he's winning a fifth here out of 9. The yellow of the two that are touching each other, the one that is leftward, is the one he will probably be playing. Plays the right one instead. He could get himself snookered. Ishmael is snookered. Sometimes he's guilty of his errors. Sometimes his game reading can just come a little too short. He recovers much better from the diehard and will be winning the frame with a full body stretch. He puts the easiest ball and as well has the easiest block for the easiest lead. Ishmael 5 and Ibra 4.
Ujerili acha Q-stick yako haiko. Anakia dhaka.
It is 5 frames to 4, dear viewers. If Ishmael perfects this killer instance, like seemingly he will, then we'll be taking a 2-frame lead for the very first time since the start of day. In fact, it is the first time that he is leading whatsoever since the start of day. In the first match against Dog City, he never ever got to lead. Sometimes he was able to play equalizer, he was able to keep Dog City within range, but never ever led at all. But against Ibrahim, he's leading by 1 frame, he's on the verge of leading by 2. Die-hard instincts purely showing in the big match between the Ugandan and the South African. Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 frames of play, it is Ishmael 6 and Ibra 4. Magara Andrew, you are asking, perhaps comically, that is Ishmael related to the female player Didier Drogba? You say they are related. By the way, when you say that, I cannot see, and I can also see the resemblance. Save for the fact that Ishmael is way more light-skinned than Drogba. Ishmael, I've said this twice, I will say it again. He is only naturalized as a South African. Otherwise, he is originally from Zimbabwe. He is 100% Indebele. Only went to South Africa to grow up as a kid. Became naturalized. He now is South African. By naturalization, he holds a South African passport. He's been a member of the South African national team, the Proteas. He's won the All-Africa team title for South Africa in 2014, and for the singles for South Africa, he is now South African. But by birth, Ishmael is Zimbabwean. Hope you get the difference, guys. That is who we are as an African group. There are so many African players, by the way, that are not playing for the countries of their birth. The Zimbabwean player, Timothy Onida Sakala, is actually naturalized Zim. He is Malawian by birth. The Ugandan former national champion, Marion Chisache, is only naturalized Ugandan. She is Kenyan by birth. Who else? It's those that I can talk of now. Some members of the Kenya national pool team that are South Sudanese by birth, like Dennis Mwanga, whom I expect to be meeting this coming Sunday at Mchana. But we also have very big questions of Joseph Mugisha. For us as Ugandans, we claim him as ours. There is no way you can be Mugisha and non-Ugandan. So Mugisha, we are going back home with you, and you will be meeting your Bachiga brothers this coming weekend. Give me a call, Jose. In the meantime, Ishmael leads by 6 frames to 4 against Ibrahim SEJJEMBA. The third race to 21 involving Ishmael and the Ugandan delegation involving Ibra and Dog City. For Ibra, shouldn't he win this one, besides the loss of $2,000, it will be some kind of humiliation, and with due respect to Ishmael, most of the time is what Dog City does, Ibra is expected to do. We have a very tricky looking frame upon us. Ibra will perhaps want to put the yellow he's looking at to the center pocket on the left with big top spin. The cue ball may have to be played into the 2 yellows that also have 3 reds just around them for him to create an opening that could win him a 5th frame out of 11. Of course, he has not full control of the position of the yellows after contact with the cue ball. Sometimes he can get lucky. That's why he's playing with the minimal power to do only what he has control of. Maintains power well enough to have sight, that is full sight of the yellow, which is leftwards of the 2. Wanting to put it direct now to the corner pocket bottom left. Cue ball has to be bounced off the left cushion into yet another yellow, and yet he gets himself snookered. After playing so well, luck is evading him. Advantage Ishmael. Whether or not Ibra finds the angle, as long as he doesn't pot, you get a feeling this frame is poised in favor of Ishmael. As Ibra wants to try and find the red off the left cushion, he wants to pot the yellow, to the side pocket on the right. He does find the yellow, but misses the pot. Could pot the cue ball. He doesn't pot the cue ball. Nonetheless, the chance is all for Ishmael to try and take the frame, try and increase his lead, try and make it likely that he could take Ibra down in a money match. We came so closing to witnessing what could have been the best shot of the match. It was all with intent. Ibra playing yellow off 3 cushions, tried to put it the side pocket on the right. It remains, nonetheless, after the miss, an opportunity for Ishmael to win yet another. With 1 hour and 5 minutes of play, we are playing frame number 11. Pretty much 1 hour per 10 frames. That is relatively good speed. But it would mean that if we are to play this race to completion, we could use the most part of 4 hours simply to determine a winner. How good will this shot for Ishmael be? He wants support, but the shot is a lot defensive in nature, and it will go down as a very good one from Ish. Ibra snookered yet again, tempting for him to play the cue ball off 2 cushions at the top left end of the table. Naturally, the cue ball moves just around the area where there is the side pocket on the right. Hopefully try and find the red, hop the yellow, and try and pot it. And he could still find the yellow and pot and still get himself snookered. Does find the yellow, doesn't pot. I don't remember seeing Ishmael making 4 snookers in the same frame, unless it is a decider. Okay. It's a sign of how much he really needs the win. Most especially that his boss is watching. And in consequence, he's been rewarded by Ibra fouling by putting the cue ball. Surely Ishmael will not be letting Ibra back on the table this time round. Lucky Lewis. You saw the way I like Ish. Yes, he's my friend. I like him. And Niwagawa Wilberforce, you're asking who won between Dog City and Ishmael. You are probably the only one who doesn't know that Dog City has defeated Ishmael earlier today by 21 frames to 16. He's smiling while watching and supporting Ibra with the $2,000 in his pocket. So if he's owing you, better give him a phone call now. Seguya Vincent, thank you for watching. Tony Blair. You're also not aware who won between Ish and Rashid. You probably know by now, as Ish is set to extend his lead now to 3. I even get a feeling Ibra needs to have some time out because he's now being out-thought and being outplayed, out-attacked, and out-snookered by Ishmael, who is potting black for the 7th time out of 11. And yes, he does. Ishmael 7 and Ibra 4, and race to 21. So I don't even know how long it lasts, but now I've used it for 1 hour. So I'm charging this one now. Because of this. He's going for yet another. He may not have full sight of one of the reds. If he does, you have every reason to worry. If you're supporting Ibrahim, this one even a bigger reason if you are Ibrahim himself. And now from wherever you're watching, you probably fully understand what it means when this guy is called the diehard. Many thought it was a wastage of 2,000 US dollars. Him even attempting to try and take on Ibra after losing out to Dog City twice, with him tired. And now you know that when Ishmael is on table, he means to die and die hard. He wants to die with this frame, wants to die with the match. He is taking a 5-frame lead when very unexpected, and puts black for the 8th time in the match. Perhaps it's a 4-frame lead. I beg your pardon. Ishmael 8 and Ibra 4. And Lucky Lewis reminding us to like the video. Thank you very much, everybody, from wherever you're watching, either Peter Cheve Live YouTube or channel Pool Club. Please do not forget to like the video, as well as those that are watching on Break and Finish Live Facebook. Bonnie Chigula, thank you for watching on Facebook. Homeboy, you want Ish to take you home. Hopefully he does it for you. Finehas Jew asking who won the first one. You are the only one that doesn't know that the first one was won by Dog City. Cyber Monk, you think Ishmael is taking free money? You are not very fair. By the way, he's not taking free money. I can't even say he's taking money. There will come a time you'll see Ibra winning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames. He can. I have no shadow of a doubt, because you are listening to someone that has been watching him for all of his career. He's not playing well enough so far. Winston Chikwikwi, thank you for watching Break and Finish Live Facebook all the way from Zambia. Jonathan, you say Hussein is leading Sparks by 13 frames to 5. See, Raid was supposed to be here today. He eventually turned out the matches against the Ugandans such that he can play with Hussein in Tanzania. Now you hear that he's down. Simon Kering, yes, it's a 4-frame lead. Jane Tobayo from Zimbabwe, thank you for watching. And Georgia Media Pool, the one that streams all those matches from Eswatini, thank you for watching. Kidoj and Hoza Ishanu, you say pool is life. And I've just been listening from Ishmael's boss. After Ishmael winning those 4 frames in a row, he has just said, that is the Ishmael I know, not the one that played against Dog City. Now it can't be any better than your boss having all the trust and confidence in you. Even when you lose, your boss still trusts you. And yet, more action between the Ugandans and the South Africans, two of the countries closest to each other in terms of the production of quality players on the African continent today. And I have to say, I still believe South Africa has the best players, yes. Most especially those that we don't get to see a lot in these gambling matches, especially the products that come from Cape Town. And that city can easily be the capital city of African pool. After getting a chance to watch and stream the African Ultimate Pool Championships with the South Africa A and B team, all dominated by Cape Town-based players, I saw quality that I had never seen before. But yes, it is very good that the Ugandans and the Zims and the Zambians, the Tanzanians have closed in on the South Africans to the effect that today you can have a match between Ishmael and Dog City, the Ugandan, and the match has been won by Dog City, and it was the second in 2 days. With all
saying I'm in classes of Sula and Dioka and Black Sheep. Imagine.
There was a brief break of the Facebook stream, which is since then back and fully running. And the one that doesn't need to break his pattern anymore is Ibrahim. What I love about him is still wearing a very, very confident face. He knows that he has it within himself to win frame after frame and after frame and come back and then finally take down Ishmael. But must not let Ishmael's lead grow a lot. Ibrahim is not so known for mounting comebacks, but he has a relatively good record against South African players. Lost a race in 2023, lost a race in Kampala to Aiden in 2022, but won recently against Harry in Zimbabwe. He won recently against Jerry in Johannesburg and won twice out of 3 in a trilogy against Jerry in Kampala 2 years ago. In the African Ultimate Pool Championships last year, Ibra lost out in the round of last 16 to the tournament's eventual winner, Aiden Joseph, in a race to 7 by 7 frames to 6. I remember streaming that game from Bombela at Nelspruit. As I speak, Ibra is winning a frame for the first time in 5. And I didn't even know he has some fans around because they get to clap relatively big. It is Ishmael 8 and Ibra 5. There he comes to break frame number 14, aiming for the pyramid. The red it was. He gets to make 1 red and another 3 red spotted. Of course, Ishmael will be going for the reds. By the way, never mind. The yellows, despite them being 7, are positioned better than the reds. Way better. If you can get to make 1 yellow, you will not fault him wanting to make yellow by bank and sinks it in. Going for apple is Ishmael. The 2014 African champion wants to regain a 4-frame lead against the Ugandan, who won the Grand Mchana 2023 to add to the Billiards Cafe Classic 3 years later, which made him become the first Ugandan to win an international competition. They can measure against each other, these players, in terms of longevity, in terms of top competition. But Ibra came in a little later than Ishmael, and in the recent past, Ibra has been a more consistent competitor. As for Ishmael's competition, most of the time coming out of South Africa in the teams and individual events. He was active at Q Masters in Dar es Salaam last year, a tournament where Ibra came fourth out of 128 players. Ishmael was only successful up to the round of last 16. I remember him losing out to Roy Kabwe, the same guy who defeated Ibra in the semi-finals, the actual tournament winner. Ishmael going for a single visit, going for Apple, going for the regaining of a four-frame lead. Will want to put the yellow close to the cue ball to the corner pocket. Top right has to bounce the cue ball off the left cushion with backspin. Just like that. The rest is a formality. The Zim South African is meaning business. His die-hard attitude is always now being manifested right in front of our eyes. Even the pocket that has been haunting him in both races against Dog City, now he seems to have mastered how to pot in it, and will be putting the most useful ball on the table, the black to the side pocket left, which he does to extend his lead. He inspires support from the fans. It is Ishmael 9 and Ibra 5.
I stood up to walk around because I couldn't sustain. You are not small. I don't think I have to take it to show.
Naamsha akili.
Too much coffee. I can't go for night.
Have you at your age, while playing sport?
Everybody has played sports at one time. It was some little bit of freedom, but I wasn't talented at swim. Where are you from? Kenya and long distance running. Kenya and long distance running are like this.
Yeah, I used to do 10,000 meters.
Yeah.
Competitions. And at some point I went up to the national level.
Oh. If you can go to the national level in this country, you would have been an international athlete if you are really you can play the national competition.
If I had followed that path, I would have gone to the international level.
You will not be anywhere near the bodies.
I was also very good.
The age and then
9 frames to 6 now, with Ibra having pulled one back. This is frame number 15, perhaps frame number 16. The battle of the break for most of the match is being won by Ishmael. That includes the time when he broke and potted 4 reds, 3 reds they were. He opted to play the yellows and nonetheless won the frame by break and finish. I think it was his 8th. Jerry Slabat from Namibia, thank you for watching. You said you are wishing me all the best, and you say the level of African pool for its love and all the best for myself. Thank you very much for your kind words. Cyber Monk and Scott Jr. You say Ibra is also a gambler and Ishmael has a heart. Yes, by the way, most of people play this, I have to say, not with a lot of pride, that there's too much gambling that goes on in this sport. That is pretty much its nature. And gambling matches sometimes attract a lot of traffic in comparison to official competition. For instance, this is just organized gambling, but it is real and genuine. Sometimes that's why I even ask players to take pictures with their money after matches. Then I share them with you after those streams. But for today and yesterday, Dog City did tell me, Peter, please don't take a pic. Don't even give me money in public. I don't feel safe. But Ishmael is safe with his pattern play. With 3 yellows on the table, wanting to win with what will be his second green apple of the match. He needs relatively 2 big shots. Will want to put the yellow closer to the cushion first. He has not moved the cue ball well enough in my position. Has to contend with playing the one which is near the center of the table first, and there is a little bit of movement of the cue ball which is kind of natural, with a sharp cut of the yellow to the side pocket on the left. Cue ball bounces off the left cushion with the left spin on the yellow. It bounces while moving leftwards, sorry, like that. He may not have wanted it to have the yellow, the white played into the red, but will probably not care. Has simply to be on target, have the yellow into the side center corner pocket. Ishmael is oozing with confidence, also fire. He has the quality and experience on his side and is getting himself into double figures of the scores for the very first time in the match. Ishmael MTHETHWA and South Africa 10, SEJJEMBA and Uganda 6, rest to 21.
The game is very complicated. In Kenyan language, that is very tough. The game is very not USD.
So who is winning? Ishmael. You're not.
He is showing some confidence.
Yes. He's fighting for like once in a day. And that you can win the 2000 this year, then you can play with playing.
That guy. I think he's there. He didn't reach to the pressure to go down. The game will finish. Come.
That's how it is.
It's a very tricky game.
You are watching African Professional Gambling Plus. Ishmael, right after defeat by Dog City, did not even need to have a rest. He said, bring me the other Ugandan player, bring on Ibra. I want him on the table. And he's leading quite big. What Ishmael hasn't been able to do successfully is make his gap quite insurmountable. There will be the time when Ibra's game comes into play, when he wins consecutive frames. Time has not yet come, at least so far. But while Ishmael is wearing a very fighting face. Ibra is wearing a face of confidence. He knows that he has it within himself to win consecutive frames that get him back, perhaps at level terms with Ishmael, and yes, he can. As he makes the ball, the yellow that is leftwards of the 6 is the one he will be playing. He has to avoid contact between the yellow and red as he tries to put it towards the corner pocket, bottom left. He puts the cue ball instead. Not only is Ishmael playing better so far, he's starting off as the luckier player. Sometimes Ibra scratches were unexpected. Sometimes the breaks of Ibra not good enough. Sometimes the finishes of Ishmael extraordinary. This one will be another. If he gets to make a completion of these reds, he will be having a 5-frame lead for the very first time in the match. And it is a lead that will be starting to become a little too much, even for a player of Ibra's goodness. Looks like a ball has jumped out of the pocket. For whatever reason, he played with all that power.
My tea. That is tea. You have just added tea. You don't take tea.
I like it, but now it is coffee to take away the sleep.
Here comes the chance for recovery for Ishmael, who, at least for the first 1 hour and 20 minutes of play between himself and the Ugandan, has clearly been the better player. What he needs is to maintain the same playing pattern, also maintain the bravery, avoid the number of unforced errors that saw him lose out to Dog City. Also pray that luck is on his side and could be redeeming his 2,000 US dollars from Dog City. That one will seem, if it happens, as if Dog City will have beaten Ibra on the day. Like, you can understand the story. If Ishmael beats Ibra in terms of money lost on the day, Dog City would actually have taken Ibra's money. I've been advised there is always a 32-man comp at the venue on Saturday. It, however, doesn't affect the realisticness of having many matches at the same venue because there are more than enough pool tables to have all of the action. So if that will be the case tomorrow, we shall have live streaming of the competition, but also live streaming of what is expected to be a rematch of action between Dog City and Ishmael. I want to speak to the manager of the day for Ishmael. He's a very useful figure in Kenyan pool. He runs a very neat venue. About 7 United King pool tables, all of them neatly designed, well spacious. If you ever get time to visit
somewhere at the river, we have very good pool tables and we welcome you. We love pool and we love you guys.
Thank you very much. Now to this game, of course you're on the side of Ishmael. Can I say that he's fighting like he's fighting for you? He doesn't want you to lose the second match on the day.
No. Now this is the Ishmael playing Ibra.
Yeah.
That is the Ishmael I know.
No. Yeah. Not the one who played with
the other one who played Dog City, that was not Ishmael. I don't know who was that.
You know.
Yeah. So you know, this is the Ishmael I know.
There is a reason why he's called Die Hard.
Die Hard.
He's one guy who can win the game.
Yeah.
He takes the 2,000 US dollars, then he can tell Ibra 4,000, pot we go again. That is the kind of guy he is.
Yeah. In fact, that is the plan for tomorrow with Dog City. We have made a proper arrangement. We can do even 8,000 pot tomorrow with Dog City. So it is not yet confirmed, but we are hoping for that tomorrow.
This is what I have to tell you.
Yes.
Because I know the Ugandan players more than myself.
Yeah.
In case in case Ishmael wins, like he may, the biggest likelihood will be him rematching with Ibra, because Ibra will want to play more than Dog City tomorrow.
Yeah, it is okay. Even if Ibra wants to rematch, there's no problem. I expect so. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You are a very brave guy. You are indeed a Simba.
That's the only line. Another thing that I wanted to ask from you.
Yeah.
A small race. You see, we are not professional players.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I can take you down for a small race.
I actually, when you asked to play with me yesterday, I took time in the corner to look at you playing. I realized I'm not at your level. You are a very good shooter. I cannot play with you. Unless you give a good head start, I can try.
I'm an old man. With very old tactics. So I may challenge you on skills. But in terms of professionalism, you may take me down.
Simba is fishing me. 17 frames played. Ishmael 11 and Ibra 6. Die Hard is in business.
Wakisha tu kwenda waangalie pale kama kuna stima. That's not like Ishtuka. When Ishtuka comes but there's coffee as well. This is coffee. Very
Dear viewers, like you may have heard earlier in an interview with Ishmael's manager Simba, a plan to take on either Ibra or Dog City for everything they may have won. That is irrespective of the result of this game. For instance, should Ibra somehow come back and win the match, Simba will want the $4,000 US that Ishmael lost to Dog City, and then the $2,000 US that Ishmael may have lost to Ibra, and then add some more, and then they go for one race to 21 for $8,000 US pot. And when he was saying that, he was wearing a very smiley but serious face. He's a big boy with bottomless pockets. He also runs this big restaurant with all of these wonderful pool tables. Of course, you can see how neat the venue is. Of course, with the too much passion for pool, closing two other tables simply because one of the tables is the center of attraction for a big money match that is having just over 2,000 watching combined on Facebook and YouTube respectively. streaming platforms are Break and Finish Live, Facebook, Peter Chove Live, YouTube, as well as Mchana Pool Club YouTube streaming platform, with the audio being presented to you by myself, Simon Peter Chove, watching South Africa's Ishmael MTHETHWA demonstrating his die-hard antics this time round with full coverage on the internet. He is one guy that can play the night away with a lot of financial implication. He doesn't care. If you want to beat him down until he loses his last round. He's on the verge of taking a 12-frame to 6 lead against SEJJEMBA as long as he puts and maintains the cue ball relatively well. Beautiful cueing from the South African. Each of frames that Ibra has won, with Ishmael on 12 and Ibra on 6 in a race to 21.
Has changed his break.
He's not doing the pyramid.
He has adjusted now to breaking from your instead of what he did in the first.
I still not working.
Even after Ibra adjusting his break, you may have realized that for the first just about 8 frames he has broken on the day. He was breaking from the middle of the bow line. In the very last, he has adjusted to breaking from the side and has hit the pyramid, not the pyramid but the second ball. Still it is not working because he goes to break dry. In these games, the break can mean to be very useful. Ish is not only breaking better, he's finishing better, he's thinking better, he's leading bigly. He's now a big favorite for the victory. One thing I can remind you, you would be kidding me if you wrote Ibra off, even though he's 12 frames to 6 down. One thing that is against his favor, Ibra, most of the time in money matches and competitions as well, when he concedes a big lead, is not known for mounting big comebacks. Ishmael on the hill. Wanting to win a 13th. Will be putting red to the corner pocket, top lift. And how good he's queuing now. That's the sign of the confidence of the guy that has won 12 out of the first 18. With very good English on the keyboard, bouncing it off the cushion. And it does pretty much the same exact thing now, having one red ball to put to the corner pocket bottom right. With the backspin, I believe Ishmael will want to put black to the side pocket on the right. Just like that, the rest is a formality. Amid the ululations from the Kenyan fans, Ishmael leads by 13 frames to 6 in a race to 21 for $2,000 US.
One who was sitting there, I think she went home.
Yeah, she did.
Madam, you know about school? 30-second interview. Just two of the two players. Good evening, young lady. There are fans who like the game. They know not so much about the players, but they will be recruits
and we'll be addicted as much as we are at the end of the day. There are some who are watching international competition for the very first time, and they have been seated and standing here from the start of the day up to now, and we've been playing since exactly 4 p.m. East African time as I speak. I think it's just around 11 p.m. or thereabouts. It's actually already midnight East African time, already Saturday morning. Already Ishmael on 13, and already we are playing our 20th frame of the match. Already we are having to come to the halfway point of the match. That is, if this one is to go all the way, if we are to have a decider, one thing I think Ibrahim has to do right. He must go for the game in long races. You must go for the game. You must keep potting balls. That is what gives you the confidence to keep running, to keep going, to keep potting. Something that Ishmael is doing way better than his opponent in the match. Needing to pot a matter of 3 yellows and the black in what looks like frame number 20, also on the verge of being won by the Zim South African. He's now showing the class and the quality that saw him African number 1 in 2014. The class that saw him making a tour of Ibra's country, Uganda, the following year, and cleaning up the country quite well, beating pretty much all of Uganda's best players besides 2, and yet those 2 included a very young Ibra. This time round, Ishmael looks set to test Ugandan money for the first time in a long while, needing to complete an apple in the 20th frame, potting black to the corner pocket, bottom left, and it's in. He's now having the fans falling in love with him because of how good he's shooting. He leads by 14 frames to 6. Now the passion at the venue of the game, there are lots of giant screens around, but the 3 that are facing the table, on one of them they are having this exact stream on the screen. On the other, we are now watching beautifully the stream of the match between Abdallah Hussein and Royd Kabu. In that one, I can see that Hussein is leading by 15 frames to 9. That match is the reason why Royd refused to come to Kenya. He was meant to have matches against Ibra and Dog City, opting to play with Abdallah Hussein instead, and it's not paying off so far. What has paid off for the first time in a long while is a fair break by Ibra, where he's gotten to make a ball, and he has himself to blame shouldn't he finish this frame by green apple. Of course, he's going to be playing the reds, and it will provide him the easiest opportunity to win a frame, I think, ever since the start of the match. He was once drawing by 4 frames all. Since then, Ibra has won 2 and Ishmael 10 out of the next 12, something that Ibra has got to work on. He has to start winning frames. He needs to start pulling frames back. Ishmael's lead has become so big, so worrying, at a cost of $2,000 that everybody, including myself, thought would be Ibra's money, and yet things are turning out in the opposite direction as play goes on. The 14 and the scoreboard is the number of scores, the number of frames for Ish, and the 6 for Ibra. 1 frame at a time. The Uganda needs to start mounting a comeback.
Kama hiyo seat tuweke hapa ili akirudi ndio displace Ibrahim.
Daniel Nyangulu. I asking if you are going to see another comeback. Hopefully you do, Daniel. Thank you for watching China Pool Club Can Adventures. You seem to be supporting Ish. It's okay. It's okay. Emmanuel Chisala. You say both with race to 7. I don't hear statistics. George Ndungu, you say Ibrahim will still win. You are a brave guy, George. Babalola Peter, you say Ibrahim is in trouble. I can't agree with you more. Makwena, you say you forever appreciate me for making sure that you love and enjoy the favorite sport. I am humbled. And once again, special greetings to Chairman GNM, our chairman, who is pretty much the biggest factor for the resumption of Kenyan pool, and people like Jamlock are taking his inspiration. One person that needs no introduction in terms of inspiration is Ishmael MTHETHWA. If you consider the Ish that played with Dog City and the Ish that is playing now with Ibra, the Ish that is playing with Ibra called head start to the Ish that played with Dog City and still beat him. That is the difference between the quality he is showing now and the missed quality he showed when taking on Dog City. Now he needs to put yellow to the corner pocket top right, then move the cue ball towards the bottom right end of the table. Its movement could be hampered by one of Ibra's reds. Has to be careful. Into the red. I'm not so sure he's not snookered. By his body language, I think Ish is snookered at least partially. His game reading was not on fully. He needed to play the cue ball with a little bit more power, such that since he intended to play the white into the red, I use more power. White pushes the red away in a big distance, have enough sight over the yellow, and gets to win the frame. It was 14-6 prior. It is now 14-7. If Ishmael doesn't pot, if he plays the yellow a little bit away from the pocket, it could easily be 14-8. And he's having a very solid customer as an opponent. And yes, neither does Ishmael pot, nor does he set the yellow. Neither will it go down as a very good shot. It is the exact opposite. It is another frame that now has Ibra as favorites to win. Little steps he needs to do to try and mount a comeback, which is quite unlikely, nonetheless possible. With mixed results in Kenya for Ibra. The last time out that he was on Kenyan soil, he wants to forget the experience with which he lost out to guess who. Dominic Minor, the same guy that was beaten by the boy, that is Yahya, in yesterday's curtain-raising money match before Ishmael played with Dog City. That's the guy that beat Ibrat Team Maxo in Eldoret. And at the Grand Muchana, last time of participation, Ibra, who was then defending champion in the year that was 2024, lost out in one of the earlier rounds. I'm forgetting which round it was, but did not make it very far in the event. But winning the Grand Muchana in 2023 on Kenyan soil is one of his biggest success stories of his career. He also played a money match here in Kenya in 2022 against the guy that was thought to be the best player in the country then, Damian Overton, a British-born, in a race to 16 for $2,000 with Ibra winning by 16 frames to 12. The following day, he was able to head start two of Kenya's best players and beating them both. A mixed story of successful and otherwise for Ibra on Kenyan soil. He has a small body which has been a handful for so many of his opponents in and out of his country for now a full decade. But not in so many matches has he been outplayed like he is today, because it is quite clear that we have had a good player in the match, Ibra, and so far a much better player in the same match, that is Ishmael. But it is later opportunities with which Ishmael doesn't get his attacking sequence correct, with Ibra getting to pull a frame back if he wins another. If he makes it 14 frames to 8, he can have a chance to fight for yet another frame. The more he wins, the more confident he becomes. The closer he gets to Ishmael, the more pressure mounts on Ishmael, and before you know it, you could see Ishmael losing his pattern, losing his concentration, especially with the knowledge of the weight of his opponent, not the weight of the body size. Of course, Ibra is way lighter in terms of deliverance on the pool tables. In the last 2 years, he has been way heavier. Now needing to put the last 3 reds to the left side of the table, corresponding corner pockets, top, side, and bottom. The black is there for the taking. He will start with red to the side pocket left. Just a little backspin, as little can be, just like that. Needing to put the last red to the corner pocket bottom left. And then, of course, black. And then the frame will be won by the little magician from Kampala. Ibrahim SEJJEMBA 8, Ishmael MTHETHWA 14.
Dula amempata. Unajua Dula na yeye kupatana naye akiwa good form. Anaweza kutembeza.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, now he was asking whether you will eat some fish.
Any day.
There's some butter. People eat butter.
You know it.
On his lower side, I think.
There is this one thing that Ishmael is doing absolutely right. Take a lead in the game, make the lead grow big enough. When your opponent starts mounting a comeback, don't allow them to win so many consecutive frames. That is what Ishmael has just done now. After Ibrahim responding with 2 frames won, Ishmael has responded with 1 for himself and 1 relatively well. He gets to the magic number 15, now needing to win 6, while Ibrahim needs to win 13 out of the remaining 18 frames. Ishmael MTHETHWA 15 and Ibrahim SEJJEMBA 8, rest to 21. Here comes Ishmael on the break, aiming for the pyramid, the top red support. He's going for the reds. Plays yellow into red, puts both red and yellow. That leaves an open table. He now needs to play perhaps red into red. Makes the simplistic way in which to close the table, and will be putting the red. He has left packed at the corner pocket top right. Use it to move the cue ball towards just around the middle of the table. He may want to put the other 2 reds, 1 to one of the side pockets, maybe 1 to one of the corner pockets, for what will be a frame. He's intent on winning by break and finish, live on break and finish. The former African number 1 now putting the would-be bird of the 2 reds on the table. A little backspin, bounces the cue ball off the left cushion, in perfect position to put another red. This time he needs a bigger backspin because he wants to put black to the corner pocket bottom right. Plays top spin and makes it look even better. Confidence, quality, experience and expertise all in 1 frame being demonstrated by Mr. Ishmael as he gets to win and wins again and extends his lead. Again, the very important statistic of him having won twice as many frames as Ibra. It is Ishmael 16 and Ibra 8.
Anapiga zoezi na kila sikio usijaribu.
Dear Facebookers, thank you for watching. Special shout out to you, Timothy Ngulube. You must be Zambian. You say so he complained to be tired yesterday just to be beaten like this for sure. Timothy, leave my Ibra alone. Ishmael survives what could have been a foul. I said it a few times during the match between him, Ishmael, and Dog City that was so unfortunate with moments so close like that, always turning out in his favor. This time around, he seems to have the fortune of having such moments going along with his very good queuing style. Naka. You said Dog City can wait a little bit. You want to deal with the Ibra until... Yeah. You people, why are you so stubborn, eh? Sandy Balonga. I think you're Sandra. You say that's why you don't watch your opponent's game the day before. You're advising the players on how to regulate their emotions before play. Ish needs a big shot here. If the yellow can pass into the side pocket on the left, if he can control the cue ball well, he will be in business to win yet another. Wants to play with top spin. That is one big shot from the South African. There was a lot of English on the cue ball. You need to appreciate the position of yellow and white before the ball was played. And yet, the important ball on the table is missed. Sometimes some of these top players, there's the way he dragged the cue ball, and yet all he needed was just to roll. Don't mind about the cue ball, it is safe. Once you choose to play with the precision, just aim on target, which he did not. And this frame for me will be demonstrating whether or not Ibra can even make us believe that he can try to mount a comeback. Of course, he needs to make clearances of frames like this. Just 5 days ago, he did it in the first frame of the first live final against Caesar when Ibra was winning the last comp that he won in Kampala. the one that inspired the confidence that made this tour possible. He must be on target now. And there we go. And after one good shot, you get to think that perhaps he's pulling one back. He surely will. Perhaps wanting to start with the red that is topwards of the 4, perhaps the one that is in between the 3 that are at the bottom end of the table, potting it to the corner pocket bottom right, allowing the cue ball to bounce a little off the right cushion, just a little. He chooses instead to play the cue ball into the red, play it closer to the side pocket on the right, with pretty much the same exact effect. Him making a clearance and reminding Ishmael that yes, the killer is out, is down, sorry, but not out. Him to pot again with just a little backspin, just like that. Although he's training for pretty much all of the match, he's reminding everybody of his abilities. Though he's badly trading, he still got it in him to win a frame quite impressively. The round of applause from the fans is in order. Ibrahim SEJJEMBA 9 and Ishmael MTHETHWA 16.
This is coffee. There's no more tea. Only coffee available.
Close to being sour.
These guys just want one goal
For 1 hour.
The game just finished. When they got just one goal.
No time to waste.
But what the problem of this game is that he was breaking the biggest problem.
One thing that Ishmael is doing crucially better than Ibra is not just leading, he's breaking better. Like you always know, the break is a key part of the match. But although Ishmael got to make a ball on the break, he's deciding not to close the table, at least not for now. Deploying his technical antics, demonstrating to Ibra that I can take you on your side of the game and I can beat you with it. And there the South African gets to close the table. Ishmael on the Reds. $17 frames to 11. Abdallah Hussein leads against Royd. Just following that game because it's the reason why Royd is not here. Both Ibra and Dog City were meant to be playing with Royd, eventually shunning down the matches against the Ugandans, choosing to play with Dula instead. And how sad it will be that he's not winning the preferred race. In about an hour's time or a little more, never mind a little less, we shall have a winner. But if that winner is to be Ibra, because of how many frames he has to win for the victory, the amount of time could be a minimum of 1 hour and maybe 40 minutes. If it is to be Ishmael, 1 hour would suffice. Just to keep you prepared about how much time you need to keep awake. Once again,
So we have a tournament tomorrow.
It happens every Saturday.
So, what is the registration criteria?
You just pay 1,000 shillings.
Then there is money to win.
Huh?
There is money to win.
Yeah.
So have the Ugandans in participation, but irrespective of the outcome of this match, there is an even bigger expectation of Ibrahim rematching with Ishmael. And as long as Ibrahim is willing to double the stake, Ishmael's boss Simba has demonstrated that he is willing. In fact, he's ready to quadruple. He has told me, and that was live on the interview, that 8,000 US dollars pot is in order. And for any money match that I have ever streamed for money, that is the biggest spot that I have ever streamed. It was a match in Kampala. As Ishmael fouls, it was the rematch of action between Jerry of South Africa and Caesar, racing to 25 for. No, then it was 4,000 US dollars. This man is talking about 8,000, and I know that we shall not be having that one. Ibra is so much of a player, and not so much of a gambler. That would be total gambling. That's too much money to lose on the pool table. Maybe I'm just coming from a relatively small economy. For Ishmael, those things he does, that is his kind of groove. 16 frames to 9 after 25 played, with a maximum of 16 frames to go, of which Ishmael needs to win 9. And Ibrahim 13. Perhaps 12. And what Ishmael needs to do as of now is just exchange wins between himself and Ibra. Maybe it can be simplified as just trying to win the frames that he breaks, and not let Ibra win 2-3 frames in quick succession, and the victory will be in order for the South African. But Ibra is on the verge of winning this, which will be himself getting into double figures for the first time in the encounter, potting yellow to the side pocket on the right, with top spin cue ball moving towards the top end of the table. A reminder of what he can do, both to Ishmael and his management, and of course some of the members at the venue who are Ibra's fans. Will be playing yellow into the corner pocket top left, cue ball bouncing off the left cushion, moving close to the black as close can be. The rest is a formality. He is in double figures for the first time in the match. Ibra SEJJEMBA 10, Ishmael MTHETHWA 26. Timeout, Ishmael. I actually said 26, Ishmael is on 16. Now,
you want to charge your phone. How many heads are to How many heads are
day before party.
Gopal, nipige hata wewe. Nipige hiyo shot hata wewe. Simu yangu iko pale, nitakukatia nikutumie. Ndio nakuchezea hapa saa hii. Naomba nakupatia hapo.
Todas está. Hajamalizia huyu jamaa, anakunywa pole pole. Saya sharu. Hapa simuoni.
Make sure they have.
Imported items.
Thanks. Waganda, ndio bibi yao sio. Bwana anatumianga pasi. Unaona ukipitanga Busia, si kuna mahali na kuanga kuenda hivi bei na kuna kanda hapo. Siko watu wanapitanga. Sasa yeye akifika kwa askari ya Uganda akiongea tu Uganda, hata ule askari hawezi kucheki bwana. Anapita. Huyo Mkenya ndiye anakuanga shida. Kwa sababu wao wakipata huko ndani bila hiyo nini watajua tu wewe bosi wao. Lakini yeye anaongea tu Uganda.
Manager Bob Katere.
Who is eating there?
Dula.
Ishmael. I don't know.
Huh?
Ishmael. Is parent.
Huh?
Subu Gumede.
Senzo.
No, Subu.
There is Subu Gumede and Senzo.
Yeah, Senzo is a fish. Subu Gumede.
You see, you are a legend. You know everybody.
No, I watched them play. They came to Uganda.
They cleaned Uganda.
Subu Gumede.
Better than Eden.
By then,
he was the Eden of that time.
because Eden is special.
Eden is a pet.
I've never seen any good player like Eden.
That's a shot, bro. Thank you.
That's a good.
That is a shot. Naona your people. Haijamalizika hiyo.
Let's go.
I left this stream on, showing my data when I'm not
17:10. Let me go. May not realize it because
you sugar it always. Yeah, no, coffee is always bitter. The bitter part is overcome by sugar.
17 frames to 11. After 28, the South African is in the lead. The journey is too long for the Ugandan in Ibra. For Ishmael, the task of winning 4 frames more does fetch him redemption and the fortune of 2,000 US dollars. Whether or not he will be winning Ishmael, he will not be in any kind of profit, but it will be a confidence boost ahead of any other matches that the Ugandans will want to play against him. His management has hinted on playing against Dog City for everything that Dog City has beaten on Ishmael, and has spoken of a pot of up to 8,000 US dollars. I can tell you that Dog City will never play for that kind of money. That one's too big. Also too risky. Much as we are gambling, it remains a game. But the die-hard, you call him on the table for 8,000 US dollars, he will give you the game. And now I know that everybody appreciates the die-hard attitude of Ishmael. Very few of you believe that he even stood a chance against Ibra. And now we all know who the African die-hard is. And this I can tell you, if after this match, Ibra or Dog City, one of them were brave enough to ask Ishmael to play again, Ishmael would go again. Even if you increase the rest to 25, he say, let's play. All he needs is to allow him a minute to take some water, and that is it. If hungry, he may ask for 20 minutes to eat some mbuzi and then go again. And look at how good he's going. The would be bad of the 3 reds on the table. He almost played it in a position where he could connect it into yet another red. Still he can play that shot, but now needs a sharp cut, a left cut to move it rightwards into another red, packed at the corner pocket on the right. The other option is to try and put it direct to the side pocket on the left. He may have gotten lucky. Perhaps he may have intended whatever he was doing. He knew that in the event that he wouldn't put the yellow, the cue ball was being played into the set red anyway. Now putting red to the corner pocket, top right. It's perhaps on the bottom. He's playing with too much vigor. Maybe the intention is to put the red to the corner pocket, bottom left, and then move the cue ball well enough to have sight of the black to put it to the same exact corner pocket where he's putting the red. It could be something of one of the better shots of the match. He misses. For Ibra, another chance. Maybe for Ishmael, sometimes he have to contemplate between the choices he has, and then always remind himself that the easiest is always the safest. For instance, had he made a cut on that red to the side pocket on the left, the cue ball would almost naturally be played into the black or the yellow close to the black, thereby splitting the black open and create a chance for putting it. Ibra could scratch here. Very unfortunate. And the emotion all over Ibra's mind is for once reflected in his body language after scratching. It felt like hitting the table hard. Looking at a chance that came for him to win a frame, a chance that is now pretty much gone, because it is now Ishmael, after playing a wonderful free shot, now on the verge of putting black for his 18th out of 39. It is Ishmael 18 and Ibra 11. For Ishmael, it is 3 frames to go. For Ibra, 10 out of the remaining 12, or lose 2,000 US dollars.
Now this is the thing.
even when you're not when you stream 2 sessions, and then in the second session, the player who lost the first now wins. You can even tell them to give you something. They tell you, I lost, I'm only trying to recover. That's why sometimes in my mind, I support the one who won.
Definitely.
Selfishly.
Yeah. To be selfish. Did you see what Dula did? Did you see what Dula did? He's short. So he wants to play that ball by stretching. So at some point he went to hit and missed, and the cue ball went above the white. The cue stick went above.
29 frames played. This one is the 30th. I at one time called it the 40th. Please accept with apology my miscalculation. Ishmael is just chewing his gum. He's so relaxed. He knows that this one is already in the bag. He has about 6 more frames to break, Ishmael, and yet he needs to win just 3 out of those 6, and then 6 other frames, and all of them needing 3. An overwhelming favorite for the victory. Ibra may have gotten himself partially snookered, but perhaps not. He has enough sight of the yellow that is rightward of the 2. As he aims to put it to the side pocket on the right, the cue ball is pretty natural for the second yellow to the side pocket on the left, and then black to the corner pocket bottom left for him to record his 12th. And after this, it will be surely the close of the action of the day. But it will be a very memorable day for both Ugandan and South African pool, despite the outcome of the match, which anyway is highly likely to be a South African victory. In bizarre circumstances, most especially after Ishmael twice losing out to Dog City, winning against Ibra would be a little far-fetched. This time round, Ibra fails to balance power over the cue ball. Can still put yellow to the side pocket on the left, but white is now not natural for black. He may have to play it off the top cushion, off 2 cushions. How good will the cue ball be? Seemingly not good enough. Will get himself snookered. This is unfortunate for Mr. SEJJEMBA. Sometimes he has been getting close, sometimes not playing well enough, sometimes a little unfortunate. He lost his pattern this time round by the amount of power with which he intended to manipulate the cue ball for the penultimate yellow, the one that he has just spotted. He didn't play the white ball well enough and has fouled. As for Ish, yet another opportunity. How confident he's looking as he asks for the cue ball. And Ibra says it is okay. With his manager, Simba, looking on with pride other than regret. The 2 no longer have their mind on the lost money against Dog City. They want to redeem themselves by beating Dog City's international teammate in Ibra. And the Ugandans, I was speaking to the 2 of them, they want to line up Ibra against Ishmael tomorrow, but Ibra has not been spoken to. Dog City says he can do away with rematching for the second time and then allow another chance and maybe another for Ibra to redeem himself, with the assumption that Ishmael will be winning this one. every time he gets to put the ball and manipulate the key ball well. He's not only getting closer to the number 19, he's also getting closer to the money. He's also becoming more confident with each passing shot. He's just playing as though it is a normal training routine. That is exactly what he needs because he has a much needed lead anyway. This one for South African joy and pride. This one is to prove a point. This one is for redemption in terms of money. Ishmael simply now has to put both reds, I believe, to the same side pocket, putting the rightward of the two with backspin. Perfect. The cut between white and red suggests that he may have to play with top spin, have the cue ball move towards the top end of the table, bounce off the cushion. He spins it backwards and does so neatly with a great armory of skill in his pair of hands, demonstrating many of them within one clearance of the table. Ishmael aims for black and sinks it again and increases his lead amid this chance from the Kenyan fans. It is Ishmael now 19 and Ibra 11 in Dar es Salaam. Abdallah Hussein 20, Royd Kabwe 12.
See how big this name is. So you can't compare.
I also realized most of the Tanzanian guys, they are not as aggressive with getting viewers to watch their movie. You see something like pushing a leaf somewhere.
They do, most especially some.
I think he's not as aggressive.
It's hardworking. It's hardworking and
He doesn't take, I'm not talking about being hardworking. He is hardworking.
yeah.
But the aggression to push and leave the streams, that is what. But I think for him, he likes the game, but it's not priority for him to push for monetary purposes. Because his motivation comes from liking the game only, but he has another source of income that is more dependable.
Of course. But he has a YouTube channel. He streams. He has by the way, he does streams. He does Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. And YouTube, he had yesterday. We were watching it. TikTok has its own people.
He left it, his younger brother is doing it nowadays.
Oh, that guy's brother is the game. I was living
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, because Nani, he even didn't come to Arusha.
Yeah.
Sam didn't.
I saw some guy and the page was Sam.
That's the guy,
Because
that is the
my
brother.
friend, I was like, give me a microphone. Just like that.
That is the brother. Sam is into automotive engineering.
Let's get it must be getting good money.
The African diehard is refusing to let go. And I don't know whether while you're watching, every time Ishmael's face comes onto the screen, you get to observe something. He's looking so fresh. In fact, I will interview him with the assumption that he'll be winning this, whether he will be willing to play again, just for you to get his answer firsthand. For me, I think he will say yes if either Ibra or Dog City even increases the race and the pot, he will say, let's have a game. He's not only looking fresh, he's playing fresh. He's going to get himself within 1 and also against South Africans. If SEJJEMBA doesn't win 10 frames in a row, he loses $2,000 to Ishmael. Ladies and gentlemen, for Ishmael, the fans are starting to chant one more, a very popular chant in African pool. It is 20 frames to 11. South Africa lead against Uganda. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. As for Ibra, he has to do the unthinkable. I don't remember in an international match someone winning the last 10 frames. The most number of frames that I saw being one in a row between a South African and a Ugandan was Aiden Joseph winning the last 5 frames in the first money match he played against the Ugandan Caesar in Kampala, where Aiden won with one visit of the table. When Caesar led by 16 frames to 20, Aiden won 4 frames in a row without dropping a single shot. The first match between him encountering Caesar in Kampala, and then a long fourth decider that was as well was won by Aiden. Actually, it was 5, not 6 frames in a row. For Ibra, he must win 10. You don't see that one coming. Ishmael will be tempted maybe to play nose to pots, fighting for a frame that will make him $2,000 richer. They die hard, demonstrating the tactical side of this game. Again, plays not to pot. Being offensively senior and demonstrating in the frame that could be the very last of the match that he could match Ibra in his own game and try and beat him there. A match that has already gotten a result, not in terms of final score, but at least in terms of the level of play. Ibra has been a good player. Of the two, it has been Ishmael that has been much better. There comes another miss by Ibra. There comes another opportunity for Ishmael. We could be looking at a chance for Ishmael to manipulate a clearance that will win him the first race in a long time against any Ugandan player, especially after having defeated Joseph Kasozi 2 years ago at Billiards Cafe in Lusaka. Since then, he has lost twice against Dog City, once against Ian, in fact thrice against Dog City. And for Ibra, whatever he's doing is simply not working out. Maybe in his mind, he knows that this one is a lost cause. Tomorrow, at the venue, are the Sunday routine weekly comps. I expect to come and do some streaming, a 32-man comp. Of the 3 Ugandans, it could be 1 in participation. That is Yahya. Dog City says if he doesn't rematch with Ishmael, he will take use of tomorrow to have a rest because he's been playing a lot. Besides traveling a lot, I know for Ibra, an opportunity over a match, he will be welcoming it with very open arms. As he plays red off the cushion, his intention was perhaps to play the red to occupy the corner pocket where there is the yellow, but has not played the shot well enough. And Ishmael will be continuing again to play nose to pot. Of course, having in mind the situation at the corner pocket top right, where Ishmael has 2 of his yellows, and having Ibra's red in between them, Ibra plays red off yellow and gets support. Hopefully for him, he gets to pull a frame back, but must make a ball now, even to stand a chance of pulling the frame back. In a cause that looks like a lost one, unless he does something that even he, Ibra, with all of the quality he's been having as one of Africa's best players for the last 5 years or so, he has never won 10 frames in a row in an international match. Never. Here is the chance for yet another time by the same suspect. The face that Ishmael is wearing is of a one that is one of a guy that is smelling blood, smelling money, smelling victory, smelling a clearance. That is his manager Simba, chanting him on to come on, wanting now to put yellow to the side pocket on the right. A frame that is looking tricky, but throughout the course of the encounter, Ishmael has been looking trickier. Maybe try and contemplating pot yellow with a slide off the red. He goes direct and gets support. He did not read the game well enough. He should have tried to play the yellow a little off the red. It would have created an opening of both of the remaining yellows to try and finish them with his current visit of the table. He now knows that finishing the game now is not an easy option. He will need a very sharp cut of the yellow he's looking at, right against the rail. He pots. Yes, he does. How good will the cue ball be? Not good enough, just in my opinion. I doubt that the yellow can pass. Even if he cheats the pocket, it is just me doubting. But I'm the streamer and not the player. The player is Ishmael, and he puts. Proves me wrong. How good will the cue ball be? Into the red. Good shooting. No better way to seal the victory. As Ishmael, for the very last time in the match, hopefully, puts black to claim a victory. It has been one of the most classical performances from the South African. Still chanting himself up. That come on, men. Well done, Ishmael. That has been the attitude of the diehard that we know.
Yeah. I played very bad the first game. I let myself down the first game, but it's a game, you know. That's why I always choose to play more than one race, because, you know, when you're not punctual and when you're not fully fit, it can be difficult even to find your stroke, you know. But it's a game. Tomorrow is another day.
The Ishmael that played in the race against Ibra was the Ishmael of 2015. The Ishmael that played against Dog City, I don't know that Ishmael. Where has that game come from? Do you become better when you play longer?
I believe I become better when I play longer, but also the angriness in me, you know, wanting to play better, wanting to improve. But then I'm still improving. I believe I could have won even the match against Dog City if I didn't make all those stupid mistakes. But it's a game.
You were breaking better. You made little unforced errors. You did not scratch a lot.
I believe.
And you were more effective.
100%. If I can break better, it's +1 for me. But it's okay. Dog City tomorrow or the other tomorrow will continue. We can say we are married between me and
Dog City. All right.
Ibrahim,
now, I want to see whether you are the real diehard. If either Ibra or Dog City said that they wanted to play with you a match now, would you say yes?
I'm open for business.
Open for business.
I'm open for business. I'm open for
Congratulations.
business.
I have $2,000 US.
Oh, okay, sawa.
You can show it off to the camera. There he is, getting to count his money.
Come on!
Watching, I tell him I send him the bus ticket.
You know Caesar, he wants +6 on me. He said that.
I'm so happy.
No, he said that. I'm okay. Yes? Let me get my Was it peaceful? Yes, I did.